Well, it is that time again where we have this conversation where is COD or Battlefield going to kill the other franchise? And I've seen a couple of people making videos on this, so I said why not jump on that bandwagon? We'll talk about it as well. So to start off, let's start off with Battlefield. So Battlefield was released in November of 2021. I don't even know why we're having this conversation in 2022 completely because, you know, Battlefield was more competing with Call of Duty Vanguard at the time of release. And that's a whole different can of worms when you talk about Call of Duty Vanguard as opposed to Battlefield 2042, in my opinion. Now, when we have this conversation now, obviously, it kind of feels like Battlefield 2042 is just kind of getting off the ground now. It's been released almost a year, or a year, I guess, at the time of recording this video. And, you know, it's kind of already just starting to get, you know, a flow to it. It was a real disastrous launch, I feel like, for 2042 Battlefield's answer to the first-person shooter franchise. You know, it was lacking a lot of consistency, a lot of stuff that we were used to in, you know, previous versions of Battlefield. You know, Battlefield 4 had so much more to offer, even though the game was and, you know, remained broken for a lot of the time that it was going, but it felt different. It felt more fun. It felt more alive. So when you talk Battlefield 2042, you know, really it moved away from the class-based squads and moved more towards a mix and match. It's moved more towards the Call of Duty side of things with making these operators. I think it was in a attempt to capitalize on a microtransaction playground where they could just have these operators in there. So it was less class-based, more let's make these operators, let's give them, you know, some cool things here and there without actually, you know, creating that squad feeling that we had in previous Battlefields like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Now, I have to say that Battlefield 4, I had probably the most hours on that game out of any other game on console. I mean, almost hands down. I had a very strong love for that game. Just what it was, you know, playing with your squad, having your squad set up so each one of us was doing something to help contribute to the squad. I just thought that it was a really, really great game through and through, and I feel like we don't have that right now with Battlefield 2042. I know that there's been talk that they're going to bring some of that squad-based stuff back. They're going to try to bring back the idea of having the squad and everything. I just haven't seen it yet. And, you know, it's kind of like taking the wind out of your sail when we had the game that we have had for this long. I don't know. It's going to take a lot to impress me to be able to come back. And here's the thing. Battlefield 2042 I have played. You know, it was bought the premium edition or the big bundle there, whatever it was. I can't even remember at the top off the top of my head, but it was one of the things where I got the big game, jumped in, played it, and it just didn't feel the same. I will say that as far as the gun battles and stuff, I didn't hate it. The game doesn't feel bad from a shooter's perspective. It just doesn't feel like the game that we wanted. It doesn't have that squad-based stuff, you know, and I feel like this is not just my opinion. I feel like this is going across the board. This is what I'm hearing a lot from people. You know, there is people that really like the play style of it, myself included. I just feel like it's not the same game. They moved away towards something else. And the thing is, you know, even with Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, you had core game modes in there that, let's say, you know, I played almost every night with Battlefield 4. But if we didn't want to get in and play a long conquest map of 40 to 45 minutes and we just wanted to work on some weapons or stuff, we could hop into a team deathmatch and we could do some of those in a little smaller, less time consumed mode that we could really get into and work on some of that stuff a little bit more fast paced. It was offering something, and I know that it sounds contradictory when I say that, you know, they're moving towards the Call of Duty format with the operators and stuff, but it's like, it's great to have all of that stuff. I feel like those are core game modes that, you know, all these first-person shooters should have. Those team deathmatch are their version of it, you know. just some of those small game modes that would offer something a little bit different. And, you know, the mechanics are already in there because the portal on Battlefield 2042 already has that, you know, in there where it cycles through and does all these, you know, different game modes like that. So they're already in there. The maps could be just broken down differently like they have in previous years to offer that game mode to players. So I feel like that's just, you know, a big thing with, you know, Battlefield 2042 is that this is what we're getting offered, and it's not quite what everybody's used to when they talk about a Battlefield game. So I want to talk about COD now. You know, Modern Warfare 2 2022. You know, this is released this year, just a month ago at the time of recording this video. And I absolutely loved Modern Warfare 2019. That game I felt like was just a polished, really nice game. And I feel like Modern Warfare 2 is that as well. I think it is. It does need a little bit of fixing here and there. Needs a lot of UI stuff with the lobbies and the menus and stuff. Does need some weapon balancing in places. But, I mean, we needed that in Modern Warfare 2019 as well. So I don't feel like this is too far off from that. I feel like that we're going to get those fixes. And I feel like, you know, with them coming out with the ground war and stuff previous and, you know, offering that in the game as well, do I feel like it's going to put Battlefield 2042 to shame? This is what we're here to talk about. I feel like it's offering something similar, but it's not the same. When you want to play a conquest mode, when you really want that large-scale warfare, I still think that Battlefield 2042 can deliver on that, you know, pretty much. You're not getting the squad-based stuff completely, but I feel like you still can make your operators out to offer, you know, you can do one for healing, you know, stuff like that, one for ammo. So you still can do some of it, but it just doesn't feel the same. So I do feel like if you want that large-scale warfare, Battlefield 2042 is still the spot to go. I don't feel like Ground War's quite there yet. It feels a little bit more... it doesn't feel as big, as expansive as Battlefield 2042 does. So, you know, and this is a big part of making this video, is, you know, to discuss all these things, you know, because the conversation always comes up, is one going to outdo the other? If you like first-person shooters, you like first-person shooters, you know. Is some fans, you know, drawn away from one shooter to the other? Sure. But I feel like Call of Duty is always going to be there. You know, at this point, Call of Duty is such a big, massive franchise. Players know what they're going to get. They're going to drop in and drop out of the game from time to time. With the Battle Pass stuff now, I feel like, you know, this keeps players into it somewhat. Even with Battlefield, you know, offering some of that, it draws players in. I just, you know, the common thing that I'm hearing is that people just aren't, after they get their Battle Pass stuff done or their weekly challenges done, they're just losing that little bit of, they don't have any drive to play the game other than to do that stuff. It's just get that stuff done and, you know, get out. And I feel like with offering some of those other game modes like Team Deathmatch and stuff that, you know, are less than 45 minutes, you know, of playtime, you know, I feel like you would keep more players into it with that. So when you talk about, you know, whether or not one franchise is going to kill the other, no. And as a matter of fact, I could almost go even further than that and say, if anything's going to kill one of the franchises, it's going to be their own franchise. You know, Battlefield damn near close killed its own franchise with this release. Now, and I'm not trying to be rough on it because I do enjoy the actual gameplay, but I feel like there's a lot missing within the game as well. A lot that could be in there that isn't. And I feel like they've got a lot of fixing to do, a lot of changes to make in order to come up with a game that is back to what we're used to for Battlefield. Honestly, my opinion is they could have remastered Battlefield 4 for these next-gen consoles, re-release that, and it would have been a huge hit. A huge hit. And I kind of just like, you know, you can use that same format for Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3 even, and bring that and give us, you know, Battlefield 2042. Everybody would have been so much happier. So much happier. Do I feel like Battlefield is going to survive? Yes, I feel like Battlefield is going to survive, and definitely Call of Duty is going to survive. Do I feel like one of these games is going to kill the other? Absolutely not. I believe that the game's franchise is its own worst enemy in a lot of these things. So that pretty much sums up my opinions. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like down below, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We will see you guys next time right here on APN Gaming.